In this video, I'm going to discuss about control measures and risk analysis of system. There are a variety of control measures which can be broadly classified as follows. First one is backup. In case of any software design or system design or development process or implementation process, we try to create backup. Regular backup of databases daily, weekly, depending on the time criticality and size is must. Because if something happens, something error happens, something unwanted action happen, then you might not be retrieve back the data if it is not backed up. So regular backup of databases, it might be daily, it might be weekly, or it might be hourly, something like that, which will be depend on totally your time criticality and the size of the data. And also another one is that incremental backup at a shorter intervals. Means suppose there are some parts of your software you are updating simultaneously day by day, but in that within a day also you can update some portion of the new thing in the previous data. So that is incremental. You can incrementally back up the data within a short interval times. Backup copies kept in safe remote location particularly necessary for disaster recovery also. So not only you need to back up the data, you need to keep it safe in some safe location. It might be remote location also, and particularly you need to concern about the disaster recovery situation. Duplicate systems run and all transactions mirrored if it is very critical system. In many situations, in many organization also, you can see or you might understand, you might get the information that they try to mirror their internet ports or everything, every data sets or every databases, so that they can survive at any moment. Duplicate systems runs and all transactions mirrored. They try to mirror all the transactions, mean copied, if it is very critical system, and cannot tolerate any disruption after before storing in the disk. So many times, like in Google server also, they try to create copies of same type of things in various locations at the same time, because they cannot tolerate any disruption of the system. Your data might not be written in the disk itself at the same time you are writing it, but it might be copied everywhere else, but it will store at some point of the location after some time or at the same time or at a definite time. But point is that they duplicate the systems. Not only the process or the things that runs on your system or on a specific location, but all the procedure you are running might be copied at somewhere else also. And also all the transaction can be mirrored. So this is done in case of your system is very critical and cannot tolerate any disruption before storing in the disk. Physical access control to facilities. You need to control the physical access to the facilities. Physical locks and biometric authentication. For example, fingerprint can be a good input, so that you can control the physical access to the main facilities or main system. ID cards or entry pass being sacked by security staff. Identification of all persons who read or modify data and logging it in a file. This should be done for security also, or for controlling the physical access. Using logical or software control. You can control using some logical procedure or software procedure or software control. You can control the situation, like password system or encrypting sensitive data programs. You can encrypt the data that you are storing. In that way also you can provide some control. Training employees on data care, handling and security. Antivirus software and firewall protection while connected to the internet. You can provide antivirus software or firewall protection while connected to the internet. So these are logical software control. So here you can see we can create backup, we can create physical access controlling mechanisms, and we can create using logical and software we can control the situation. Next topic is risk analysis. A risk is the possibility of losing something of value. Risk analysis starts with planning for a secure system by identifying the vulnerability of system and impact of this. The plan is made to manage the risk and cope with disaster. It is done to assess the probability of possible disaster and their cost. Risk analysis is a teamwork of experts with different backgrounds like chemicals, human error, and process equipment. So risk analysis is a teamwork of experts with different backgrounds. It might be any background. So the risk analysis teamwork or risk analysis team is consists of lots of people having different backgrounds. The following steps are to be followed while conducting risk analysis. First one is identification of all the components of computer system. Second one is identification of all threats and hazards that each of the components faces. Third one is quantify the risk, that is assessment of loss in the case of threats become reality. So three steps. First step is need to find out all the components or identify all the components of the computer system. Second, identify all the threats and the hazards that each component faces or might face. Third one is quantify the risk. Not only quality or qualify the risk, but also quantify the risk. You need to provide some assessment of loss in the case threats become reality. So you need to quantify in some numbers or in some equations or in some values so that you can assess the loss in case of threats become reality. Risk analysis main steps here you can see. Hazard identification. After identification of all components in the components or systems available or components of computer systems that are available or working condition, then try to find the hazards or threats identification. That hazard identification. Second, hazard and scenario analysis. It might be likelihood or it might be consequences, means some event is happening and some event is going to happen. No matter what is going to happen, because those are the consequences of some event, and some event might occur. That is likelihood. So you need to find both ways. You need to go for what might occur or what might be the consequences, and after that you need to evaluate that using some assessment. So risk management is a continuous process, and it involves the following steps: identification of security measures, calculation of the cost implementation of security measures, comparison of the cost of security measures with the loss and probability of threats, selection and implementation of security measures, review of the implementation of security measures. So you have to go through these all processes while analyzing the risk. So this is the main diagram. You need to understand, or you need to memorize it, or it will be very helpful, because at anywhere any time you might need to analyze the risk, and also try to follow the procedure one by one to fulfill the analysis. You might get lots of other information also in other literatures or in the book also. Please go through them. If you find any difficulty to understand, please let me know. And also if you want to add something about these topics, about risk analysis, about audit, system audit, maintenance, enhancements, training methods, training, system implementation and maintenance, please try to go through this context. It is just like theory part, but it is very important in case of system design and development or analysis. As a system analyst, you must know you are seeing this thing as a system analyst only. So you need to understand these things. Whenever you are going to work in any organization or institute, you need to learn. You need to know these things, because in that way also only you can upgrade yourself more and more. So that's it. Thank you.